wanting to make a video about Battlefield 5 for a little while now, talking about the campaign, the multiplayer, and of course, Firestorm. Unfortunately, I don't have any gameplay from Firestorm. I even thought of ripping off from some other channel, maybe from Jack Frags, because he had the patience to wait a lot. But I don't want to do that. I think that would be scummy, you know, like completely ripping off something without transforming it, you know. I already talked about fair use a bunch in this channel, but here it is. I'm here to talk about some Battlefield 5. Same thing I did with Black Ops 4, but this time with Battlefield. And I have to say to you guys, out of the bat, I'm gonna try to be the most unbiased person in the whole history of YouTube talking about this game. Although I also have to mention that I'm a really huge fan of World War II games. I'm a huge fan of Battlefield. Of course, when I say Battlefield, I mean before 2042. That game sucks ass. I fucking hate it. But one day we might try to play it again, since I, you know, got the game on the pre-order and never touched that shit again, and make a video. But I don't know, the game's just really bad. Anyway, let's start. Without overextending myself, I'm gonna breeze through the reception of the game. It was really bad. People were really pissed because there was a dude with a prosthetic arm, women running and gunning with prosthetic legs and shit. And then we saw some tanks that weren't supposed to be there and things like that. And the game was looking pretty weird. It wasn't looking like Battlefield. It wasn't looking like Battlefield 2042, but it wasn't looking like Battlefield. And that was really concerning. Many people, including myself, didn't even want to play the game. The game released and I didn't even look at scores, I didn't even watch Jack Frags, a guy that I really like to watch, but I never watched any of those videos. And I actually started playing Battlefield 5 when the game was free on PlayStation Plus. Just so you guys know, it took a long time for the game to be on PlayStation Plus. But then I started playing it and I was really dumbfounded because the game's actually really good, or at least was good. It still is, but you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I'm talking about back then. And it was really nice, it was really amazing. I had tons of fun, some of my friends downloaded it. The one that didn't like the game was my cousin because he thought it was too slow paced. He's more of a Call of Duty shipment player, so for that reason he didn't enjoy it that much. But I thought it was really fun, the classes looked solid, everything was just so good. And I know they went on a long journey to make the game work after the game was released, and that's really bad because they should release a good game, but they corrected everything and basically made it work. And I was really proud, I was really happy that I was playing a game that was different than Rainbow Six Siege, and it was nice. So the reception for the game was awful. People hated it, people were thinking that Battlefield was dead, and oh boy, little did they know that we would still have 2042 coming in the future. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The reception was really bad, but people started to love the game with time, so that's always good. Battlefield 5 had something really good, that if they knew how to show people the game and actually made a good trailer, maybe that would have been really amazing, and maybe even survive, and made the game thrive a lot. And that something is called Firestorm. Firestorm is basically Battlefield 5 Battle Royale. Now people don't play it anymore, there's like one or two dudes playing it, and they just skirmish by themselves, and it's really difficult to find matches. But back then, it was awesome. Sometimes I watch some videos from that time and I think it's really good. I really felt dumb for not buying the game back then before it was free on PlayStation because no one was playing Firestorm. People wanted to play Conquest, and back then when the game was released and there was like some players, they would play Firestorm and it was really nice. They had tanks, they had a lot of weapons, the plate system was much better than the plate system in Call of Duty Warzone. I have to say, it's my opinion. The zone, or better yet, outside of said zone, was crazy because the fire, since it's a firestorm, would consume everything and it would ravage everything on its path. And it was just so crazy looking to see that amount of fire destroying structures, vehicles, burning players alive. It was really crazy. The guys is okay, the idea, you know, but a firestorm, a bunch of fire consuming the whole map, that's another level, my brother. And I gotta say, it was really beautiful. The game mode was good. It still is if you can find a match, but you know, it felt amazing and gave people some heart-pounding moments and sometimes some cinematic moments that were incredible. But unfortunately, because Battlefield 5 had such a poor ad campaign and bad trailers, and EA, because we always have to blame EA for dumb shit, Firestorm died. And nowadays, it's more like 90% very hard for you to find a match, you know, like 90% dead. But you guys catch my drift. It's pretty much impossible to find a match. It takes a long time, at least by the time that I'm recording this video. It takes a long time, and it's just really sad, honestly. But one thing that never disappointed was actually multiplayer. Multiplayer was okay, you know, like I said, people thought it would be horrible because it didn't look like Battlefield back then, but honestly, nah, it was pretty much Battlefield. It was really good. They got a lot of emphasis on things like the game mechanics. One of the best ideas they had, at least for me, was the squad revive. Basically, if you're playing on a squad, your friend can revive you, but I still think it's really bad that you can't cancel it. So if you start reviving your friend, you have to stick to the end. You can't just cancel it and kill the enemy if there's an enemy coming. But that was just such a good addition. It was really nice to see people running out there and helping their buddies. It actually brought that idea that you were playing on a squad. And I know that some people would say, hey, but that's what the medic's for. And I agree. The medic is supposed to do that job. That's his job, to actually keep his teammates alive. But if the medic's dead, instead of your friend trying to kill 15 enemies just so he can die at the last one, and you guys have to respawn somewhere very dumb, your friend could just smoke or even get some cover and try to rescue. Sometimes you would fail because the enemy would notice that you stopped shooting, so they would try to advance and kill you. So I don't think it's unbalanced. I think it's actually really good, and it's a game mechanic that was really nice. The other game mechanics are pretty much simple. You can run, jump, do random things like that. There's not much to say, honestly, but there is one thing that I have to mention. Sometimes you jump from somewhere that is too high and you lose some health. But what if I tell you that if you jump from the high place and you press your crouch button, you actually roll and you lose less health, or sometimes you don't even lose any health? Yes, there's a tactical roll mechanic in Battlefield 5, and it's so good. These two game mechanics are really nice. They are really minor things, at least the tactical roll one. The other one's more present, and you can see that work effectively. You know, reviving your comrades, that's a big thing, a big deal. But they just made Battlefield really nice. I don't know what else to say, I just love these game mechanics. And I was almost forgetting about something that is really good. The building system in Battlefield 5. Of course, it's not like building a hotel like you can in Fortnite, but you can actually build some stuff. Some sand barriers, you can repair your machine gun station, your field gun, you can create these sand barriers to protect the field gun, for example. You can craft barbed wire to protect a point. Of course, these are pretty much stationed in the map, and you can't just place them freely wherever you want. But just to know that we can actually set up some cover for us in some places that are strategic to the match that would benefit our team, I think that's great. Of course, you can destroy these emplacements, but again, you can rebuild it, so that's good, I guess. Some of them you can, some of them you can't. And since I mentioned destruction, I'm not going to talk a lot about it because it's Battlefield. We know there's a lot of destruction. But BF5's destruction is very satisfying. I don't know if it's as good as BF4's destruction, but it's still much better than Battlefield 2042, which is crazy, at least to me, because 2042 is supposed to be better than Battlefield 5. But it isn't. I know that some people might say the Battlefield 5 isn't as good as Battlefield 4, and it's not better. One could argue that, but we also need to be very realistic and say, hey, Battlefield 5 had great destruction, and I love it. I really do. And still talking about the multiplayer, weapons were great. Every single weapon had some nuance to it, and you actually felt the difference between one another. It's not like in COD, where you use an M4 and an AK, and you're just like, okay, the AK has more firepower, it gives more damage because it's 7.62, and the M4, 5.56, has a higher rate of fire. You know, it's different. You actually feel the recoil, you feel the weapon, it's just very well timed. It's great, it feels good. The gunplay in Battlefield 5 is actually amazing. I think they nailed that down 1000%. And just the range of weapons that we have, is it huge? Like the biggest range of weapons ever? No, not at all. But it has some great weapons, and it gives you great options to do whatever the fuck you want. And I think that's amazing. There isn't a weapon that is meta like Call of Duty, that if you don't use this weapon, you're gonna die, you're gonna lose. No. Battlefield actually relies more on you being good at the game, other than the weapon being good. They're doing exactly what they want, and that's good for them. So sometimes you're not using the best weapon system, but you're good, and you actually know how to use that weapon very effectively, and it does really great. It's different than COD, that if you try to play Warzone with the shittiest loadout, yeah, sure, you might do some crazy shit. I used to play with my sniper revolver, and it was really good. I used to play with my Akimbo Diamatis, and it was really good. But is it like that for everyone? Did everyone that changed their PKM light machine gun to become an SMG, did it work for them? Did the P90 AR work? Probably not. Did it work for me? When Warzone was released, yes, but after that, no, not at all, because people were running the most optimal builds, and they were trying their best to win every single fucking time. Is there a problem with trying to win? No, but people sweat a lot more in these customizations, and Battlefield 5 has customizations, yes, to their weapons, but it's different. You pick 4 parts or 4 perks to your weapon, and that's it. And you choose if you want to hip fire more, if you want to get more recoil control when you're walking, when you're standing still. So Battlefield 5 has a more simplistic idea to their customization, and I think it fits really well with the gunplay. I think it fits really well with the gameplay from Battlefield 5 in general. And I can't end the multiplayer section without talking about vehicles and the maps. Oh my god, how many are there? We have lots of airplanes, we have lots of tanks, jeeps, boats, stationary weapons, all that, and I just butchered stationary and airplanes and tanks, but you know, whatever. And keep that in mind that all these things are, most of the times at least, exclusive to a faction. So Americans have their own 4 types of tanks, and this also depends on the map that you're playing. Some maps have some types of tanks, some maps doesn't. It's the same for Battlefield 4 and the other Battlefield games, but Battlefield 5 has the same idea, and there are a lot of vehicles. We have bombers, we have fighters, light tanks, medium tanks, heavy tanks, and it just feels great. The customization feels really fresh. You can also choose perks to make that vehicle behave better to your playstyle, so I like to play a lot with tanks. Sometimes I'll wait 5 minutes looking at the map just so I can get my tiger and kill some dudes. And when I say kill some, I mean 30, and then die to an airplane or something stupid. But anyway, that's what I meant. This customization, as small as it is, it brings a lot of depth to the playstyle for each player. I'm not even gonna start to talk about airplanes because holy fuck, I don't know how to play them. On PS4 I used to be a Stuka ace, I would kill a lot of people, but then I went to PC and I got mauled to death by some crazy pilots. I don't know if they play with mouse and keyboard, with a controller, or, you know, I don't know if they play with a flight stick, but they're just so good. And I'm not that good, so it's really hard to play against them because this customization that they do, they tailor their aircraft to be the best for them. And sure thing, you might think I'm going on a craze rant, and I know there are some things like sensitivity and FOV that play a big part in vehicles in Battlefield. But imagine if in Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3 we had this customization for vehicles as well. Imagine if you could just do the things and put perks on your A10 Warthog. Wouldn't that be crazy to tailor your aircraft to be to your liking? I know they have some customizations in vehicles in other Battlefield games, but Battlefield 5 brings more to this table, and I love it. I love how they manage that, I think it's superb, and I don't know if there is another game out there that can really get close to what Battlefield 5 accomplished with vehicles. I'm not talking about Squad or Hell Let Loose, games like that that are ultra realistic for playing with vehicles. I'm talking about games like Battlefield, so I don't think there are any games that actually came close to the greatness of vehicles as Battlefield 5 did. And about the maps, I gotta say that I didn't even write that on my script. I'm just gonna talk about it from my head. I think it's great. All the maps in Battlefield 5, not all of them, but most of the maps in Battlefield 5 are great. When I play Marita, I'm like, fuck, this map's really good. When I play Iwo Jima, I'm like, fuck, this map's great. And every single game mode that I play, and I play Iwo Jima, I'm like, fuck, this map's great. And I play all maps in Battlefield 5, like I play Devastation or Twisted Steel or whatever, and I'm always like, damn, these maps are actually great, you know, so all the maps are really good. They have the dynamic weather system, even though it's difficult for you to see differences in matches. It's not like Battlefield 1 that happened a lot, but still, it's just so good. It brings immersion to another level, you know, and if you decide to turn off your fucking HUD and play the game, bro, Not gonna lie, it's probably gonna be one of the best experiences out there, and since most of the people out there are playing with normal skins, like normal Americans, normal Japanese, normal Germans, normal British, not using many elite skins, it's gonna be much easier for you to play that like a milsim game. And I'm not even joking, I tried that once and it's really difficult because Battlefield 5 is not a milsim game, but you can do some cool shit with that. And I love the maps. I think the map designs are great, and I can't complain about any of them. Sometimes it gets really dumb. If the team's too good, they're gonna get all the best spots in the map, and it's gonna be really difficult. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. Iwo Jima, for example, if you're playing that shit and there's a fucking enemy player on a plane and he's good, you're dead. You're not gonna have any chill the entire match. Other than these small little things, I can't complain about the maps. I just think they're great, and Battlefield 5, the developers did an amazing job. It's really good. It's like really amazing. And this, what I'm gonna talk about now, is one of the reasons why I don't like Battlefield 2042, the campaign mode. I love the campaign mode in Battlefield 5. I think that if you play in the hardest difficulty and you turn off the HUD like I did, you're gonna have a blast. It's gonna take a long time for you to complete the mission because it's really difficult. The enemies are not blind bats that can't see you. They're actually pretty aware that there's someone in there. They will listen to your footsteps. It's so good. I know that I'm talking about the hardest difficulty, no HUD, but even if you play it normally, it's just a great story. You get to play with some characters that you wouldn't expect, and you do some things that you wouldn't hear in history books, or you would, but it wouldn't be a big deal, like D-Day. Call of Duty, you always start any World War II game by going to Normandy, then you go to Africa a little bit as an American soldier, and then you go to Stalingrad as a Russian sniper or something like that. It's always the same thing. It's good, and I always have fun playing the campaign, especially if it's real, but if you get to Battlefield 5 and you actually play like as the black French soldier that no one knew even existed, you play as a Norwegian woman that is from the resistance, you play as a British dude that was arrested for burglary and then he becomes a special operator, and the last but not least, the one and only, the Last Tiger. That campaign, just by saying the name right now, gave me chills because it's the only game, at least that I know of, where you can play as the Germans in World War II. So yes, you play as the Germans, you kill a lot of American soldiers, and it's just so good to see the way the characters behave along the campaign. So you start by being the standard German military dude, you still have a little bit of faith in war, but by the end of it, you feel the defeat in those soldiers, and you see the difference between those that are old and already fought for a long time for an already lost war, and the new generation, the ones that are aficionados with the Reich. The ones that think that Germany shouldn't surrender, and it's just so great to see that. I think that they did the campaign amazingly. It's literally one of the best campaigns that I've ever played, and I always say that when I start playing Battlefield 5, the campaign, or Battlefield 1, I always have chills on my spine and I almost cry. And I don't give a fuck if you guys think this is gay, but I fucking almost cry every single time because the campaign is so good and it hits on your feelings. And bro, I can't stress this enough. The campaign is amazing. I really like it. Everything is just so good. Honestly, I would say to you, I heavily recommend playing the campaign if you have never done it. You know, if you never did it, play it for the first time on regular, and for the second time, play it on the hardest difficulty and turn off the HUD. It's gonna be a different experience, and it's just gonna be incredible because you feel sometimes like you've been there and like you are there, you know? I wouldn't say turn off the songs. I turned off the soundtrack on my first episode here in the channel. It was really dumb. It wasn't even my intention, but it happened. Anyway, the game's great, the campaign is so good, and it's one of the reasons why I think Battlefield 2042 is garbage, because there's no campaign. I'm a sucker for campaign modes, and the way they made and tailored this campaign is just so unique that I really love it. I can't stress this enough, I really do love it. So yeah guys, I went on a very huge journey talking about the game. Sometimes it felt convoluted and I'm sorry for that. It's because I get so excited talking about Battlefield 5. It's one of my favorite Battlefield titles. And for those that are asking yourselves, hey, is this game alive? Are there players still vibing in Battlefield 5? Yes, absolutely. In fact, one of these days the game had its price very low. It was on sale. And even in Brazil, where things are extremely expensive, the game was like 15 reais, or it was like 10, and the ultra fucking awesome edition that comes with every single little bit of DLC was like 15. I don't remember, but it was something really stupid and really dumb. So yeah, there are still people playing. And I know that I mentioned DLCs, don't worry, all DLCs are free, you don't have to pay for anything, but there are some skins, there are some cool skins in Battlefield 5, by the way, for vehicles and things like that, and they come with the paid version of the game. When I say paid version, it's because I got the game for free, both times. So, on PS4 with PlayStation Plus, and on PC with Prime Gaming. And I'm not sponsored by Amazon or Twitch or anything, but I have to say, Prime Gaming is one of the best things I ever got because I get a lot of games. I have Shadows of Mordor and Shadows of War in there, and it's all because of Prime Gaming. And of course, I have Battlefield 5 because of Prime Gaming. It was a great deal, not gonna lie. So yeah, if you're scared of buying the game because you think the game's dead, you can buy it, go for it, and play it. There's a lot of people playing it, and honestly, you wouldn't regret it. You would regret if you get Battlefield 2042. But if you didn't, then you're fine. You're vibing. You're cruising. And before finishing this video, I have to talk to my subscribers. If you guys are not subscribed, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button if you liked the video. If you didn't, dislike, but of course, tell me down below why you didn't like the video, what can I improve to make this better. But anyway, just a message to my subscribers, if you don't want to hear it, just go to the timestamps and go to the conclusion of the video. But to my subscribers, I'm gonna be changing things around. I won't be just uploading random ass gameplay, playing something dumb. If for some reason I decide to do that, it will be live. So I'm gonna stream here on YouTube and on Twitch. So both of the channels. So yes, I'm gonna be playing some squad, I'm gonna be playing some Hell Let Loose, I'm gonna be playing all those games, but it's gonna be live. I won't be releasing random videos playing squad or random videos playing some other game. It's gonna be live streamed, and the content that I'm gonna put out will be more focused like this. So yes, I'm not gonna be saving clips, I'm not gonna be saving things, I'm gonna be actually making good videos with good scripts and all that. And if for some reason people want to clip and do that, then yes, they can clip it. I'm gonna save it, I'm gonna put it in a big compilation and just do my thing. But in general, that's it. Not gonna be doing that anymore. I think it's counterproductive and I really miss doing some huge projects like this. So yeah, don't worry Milsim people, I won't be dipping and disappearing and fuck Milsim. I'm gonna still be releasing Milsim gameplay, but it's gonna be different, in a different format. And that's it. But yeah, better videos coming in the future. But anyway guys, I gotta say that overall Battlefield 5 is a great game. I really like it. I'm not used to make these videos anymore, so I don't know how to score this game, so instead I'm gonna say this. This game's really worth it. I think it's a great game. The story feels really solid, multiplayer is really fun, and it's populated now, so that's a great thing. So yeah, if you want to buy a new Battlefield, don't buy 2042, buy BF5, or wait for 2025 to drop the new Battlefield game that is gonna be more gritty, supposedly or allegedly, because they're talking a lot about this other game, so we just have to wait and see. Thank you so much for everything. I really appreciate the support from my subscribers. If you're not subscribed, like I said before, subscribe, leave a like, leave a dislike if you disliked the video, but tell me what you didn't like so I can improve and make some better content. Thank you so much for everything, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.